tvad anyena kuru-pravīra na veda-yajñādhyayanair dānair na kriyābhir na tapobhir ugraiḥ evaṁ-rūpaḥ śakya aham nṛ-loke draṣṭuṁ tvad anyena kuru-pravīra. Na veda-yajñādhyayanair na dānair na cha kriyābhir na tapobhir ugraiḥ evam-rūpaḥ śakya aham nṛ-loke draṣṭuṁ tvad kuru-pravīra. So, word for word, please repeat. Na, never. Veda-yajña, by sacrifice, adhyayanaiḥ, or Vedic study. Na, never. Dānair, by charity. Na, never. Cha, also. Kriyābhir, by pious activities. Na, never. Tapobhir, by serious penances. Ugraiḥ, severe. Evam-rūpaḥ, in this form. Śakya, can. Aham, nṛ-loke, in this material world. Draṣṭuṁ, be seen. Tvat, than you. Anyena, by another. Kuru-pravīra, O best among the Kuru warriors. Translation, Srila Prabhupada. O best of the Kuru warriors, no one before you has ever seen this universal form of mine, for neither by studying the Vedas, nor by performing sacrifices, nor by charity, nor by pious activities, nor by serious, severe penances, can I be seen in this form in the material world. Please repeat. O best of the Kuru warriors, no one before you has ever seen this universal form of mine. For neither by studying the Vedas, nor performing sacrifices, nor by charity, nor by pious activities, nor by severe penances, can I be seen in this form, in the material world. So, purport Srila Prabhupada. The divine vision in this connection should be clearly understood. Who can have this divine vision? Divine means godly. Unless one attains the status of divinity as a demigod, he cannot have divine vision. And what is a demigod? It is stated in the Vedic scriptures that those who are devotees of Lord Vishnu are demigods. Vishnu Bhakta Smrito Devata. Those who are atheistic, i.e. those who do not believe in Vishnu, or who recognize only the impersonal part of Krishna as the supreme, cannot have the divine vision. It is not possible to decry Krishna and at the same time have the divine vision. One cannot have the divine vision without becoming divine. In other words, those who have divine vision can also see like Arjuna. The Bhagavad Gita gives the description of the universal form. Although this description was unknown to everyone before Arjuna, now one can have some idea of the Vishva-rūpaḥ after this incident. Those who are actually divine can see the universal form of the Lord, but one cannot be divine without being a pure devotee of Krishna. The devotees, however, who are actually in the divine nature and who have divine vision are not very much interested in seeing the universal form of the Lord. As described in the previous verse, Arjuna desired to see the four-handed form of Krishna as Vishnu, and he was actually afraid of the universal form. In this verse there are some significant words, just like veda-yajñādhyayanair, which refers to studying the Vedic literature and the subject matter of sacrificial regulations. Veda refers to all kinds of Vedic literature, such as the four Vedas, Rig, Yajur, Sama, Atharva, and the 18 Puranas, the Upanishads and the Vedanta Sutra. One can study these at home or anywhere else. Similarly, there are sutras, Kalpa Sutras and Mimamsa Sutras, for studying the method of sacrifice. Dānair refers to charity which is offered to a suitable party, such as those who are engaged in transcendental loving service of the Lord, the Brahmanas and the Vaishnavas. Similarly, pious activity refers to the Agnihotra and the prescribed duties of the different castes, and the voluntary acceptance of some bodily pains is called tapasya. So one can perform all these, can accept bodily penances, give charity, study the Vedas, etc. But unless he is a devotee like Arjuna, it is not possible to see that universal form. Those who are impersonalists are also imagining that they are seeing the universal form of the Lord, but from Bhagavad Gita we understand that the impersonalists are not devotees. Therefore, they are unable to see the universal form of the Lord. There are many persons who create incarnations. They falsely claim as an ordinary human being to be an incarnation, but this is all foolishness. We should follow the principles of Bhagavad Gita, otherwise there is no possibility of attaining perfect spiritual knowledge. Although Bhagavad Gita is considered the preliminary study of the science of God, still it is so perfect that it enables one to distinguish what is what. The followers of a pseudo-incarnation may say that they have seen the transcendental incarnation of God, the universal form, but that is unacceptable, because it is clearly stated here that unless one becomes a devotee of Krishna, one cannot see the universal form of God. So one first of all has to become a pure devotee of Krishna, then he can claim that he can show the universal form of what he has seen. A devotee of Krishna can accept false incarnations or followers or false incarnations. Mukham karochila pongam laite grim yad kripa tamaham vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam. Na veda-yajñādhyayanair na dānair, na kriyābhir na tapobhir ugraiḥ. Evam-rūpaḥ śakya ahaṁ nṛ-loke draṣṭuṁ tvad anyena kuru-pravīra. O best of the Kuru warriors, no one before you has ever seen this universal form of mine, for neither by studying the Vedas, nor by performing sacrifice, nor by charity, nor by pious activities, nor by severe penances can I be seen in this form in the material world. Yes, so this is Krishna. He's speaking to Arjuna. He gives 4 verses. I'll read them all. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "My dear Arjuna, happily have I shown you by my internal potency this supreme universal form within the material world. No one before you has ever seen this primal form, unlimited and with glaring effulgence. O best of the Kuru warriors, no one before you has ever seen this universal form of mine, for neither by studying the Vedas, nor by performing sacrifices, nor by charity, nor by pious activities, nor by severe penances can I be seen in this form in the material world. You have been perturbed and bewildered by seeing this horrible feature of mine. Now let it be finished. My devotee, be free again from all disturbances. With a peaceful mind you can now see the form you desire." And then Sanjay says to Dhritarashtra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, having thus spoken to Arjuna, displayed his real 4-armed form, and then at last he showed his 2-armed form, thus encouraging the fearful Arjuna. Yes. So in the Vedas there are 2 words, sadhya and sadhana. Sadhya means the goal, and the sadhana is the means of attaining the goal. So you're all devotees, so you know the goal is to become a devotee, realize your relationship with Krishna, and act eternally in that relationship. But there are those, and Prabhupada touched upon it in the purport, that say, no, the absolute truth, the sadhya, the goal of everything, that cannot be a person, because a person is limited. You and I are limited. We only have a body, and we are limited by the body. So the Supreme must be, they reason in this way, this is the impersonalist, the Supreme must be impersonal, because the impersonal is spread everywhere. It is without limit. The personal means location, and the absolute truth must be everywhere. So how can Krishna be the absolute truth? He's on the chariot in Kurukshetra. Have you been to Kurukshetra? Yeah, many people have been, right? There's a place there where they say, there's a tree there where they say the conversation was. Anyway, so how can Krishna, who is in that spot, be the Supreme Lord? It says in the Shastra that the Supreme Lord, or the absolute truth, is supreme. Atato Brahma, the Supreme. Inquire into the Supreme. But Krishna, he's limited. He doesn't even have a very high status job. He looks after cows, and then when he leaves Vrindavan, he becomes a charioteer. And you'd say that he is the absolute truth. The absolute truth is unlimited. It is unlimited consciousness. But Krishna, well, the absolute truth is Krishna. Asita Devala Vyas, and everyone, Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, is saying so. So why should we accept your reasoning instead of the Shastra? Yes, Krishna is a person, but he's not a person like you. You think you're God because you're part of the all-pervading transcendence, but when are you God at the time of death? Are you God when you're getting old? Are you God when you have indigestion? Are you God when you're born? Are you God when you're dying? Are you God when your wife says, get more money, I've got to pay for the kids in school? Huh? If you're God and your wife is Lakshmi, why you can't even pay for the kids to go to a good school? No, Krishna's a person, but he's not a person like you. You show the universal form. You show the four-armed form. You say something that is still being studied, as the Bhagavad Gita is, for 5,000 years. And if the absolute truth is impersonal, and the absolute truth is the source of everything, how can it be the source of personality? If the absolute is impersonal, then where does personality come from? It can't come from the impersonal. The personal cannot manifest from the personality. And what does Shankaracharya say? Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Mudamate, Nahi, Nahi, Rakshati, Dukrin, Karine. He says, worship Govinda. What does Lord Brahma say? Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. What does Krishna say in the 10th? Aham sarvasya pravavo matuk sarvam pravadati iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samamvita. He says, those that perfectly understand Buddha bhava, that have a good understanding of my nature, they perform my bhajan. And he says, Tesham satada yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam. Those that worship with love, I reveal myself to them. Tesham evanukampatham aham ajnana jamtama nashyami atma bhavasto jnana deepena basvita. Those that I favor because of their loving devotion, within their heart I dispel with the shining lamp of knowledge of me as the absolute truth. I dispel the ignorance born of illusion. Can you say that? Can you say that? You don't even know what your wife is going to do tomorrow. And you can dispel illusion of the world from within everyone's hearts. So, achintya beda bed. Achintya means the absolute truth is beda bed, different and non-different. We've already explained these 3 points. Krishna's made it clear that Krishna is the source, but then he is the actual things that come out of the source, and they're divided into 3: the material energy, the jiva tattva, and the maya shakti, the material, spiritual, and the tatastha shakti, jiva shakti. He is those also, but also avyakta murtina. He has entered into this whole cosmic manifestation. So this is 3 ways we can understand that he is non-different. Everything, Vasudeva Savamiti, Vasudeva Paragatim, Paraveda, we quoted last week, that everything is Vasudeva. We are existing because Sutre Mani Gana Iva. Krishna has entered into this cosmic manifestation and he is maintaining. We are seeing through Krishna. We are touching through Krishna. We are tasting through Krishna. We are walking by Krishna. We are sleeping. Everything is resting upon the Supreme Lord. So that is, Krishna is the source. He is that which has emanated from the source, and he has entered into the source, that which has come from the source, three ways. And to understand him, achintya veda. Krishna is the mountain. Krishna is the river. Krishna is the air. Krishna is the jiva. Yes. They are all manifestations of his leela. The absolute truth is everything that ever has been produced, and everything is resting upon him. And it is resting upon Paramatma and the effulgence of the Supreme Lord. It is regulated by the Chatuvyuha. Everything is resting. But we have been taught, now in Kali Yuga, 200 years, material scientists, atomism. We've been taught materialism. No, everything is resting upon chemical reactions. Everything is biological. Your consciousness is because of some biological event in your brain. Your thoughts are a biological chemical reaction. Everything is resting upon that. And by mathematics, we're going to work it all out. We're going to make a mathematical formula that explains biology, chemistry, physics, and everything else. Gravity, nuclearism, it's all definable by mathematics. And you give us tax money so that we can keep on looking for that final formula. About $1 billion a year. And we will take your children, brainwash them from primary school, middle school, and university into thinking it's all a chemical reaction. The Bhagavad Gita is just 2 chemical reactions. Krishna had one chemical reaction, and Arjuna had another chemical reaction. We can't prove it. We can't tell you what that chemical reaction is, but we know as atomists, as materialists, that the explanation is mathematical formula. So that means mathematics is God, because God can reveal the absolute truth. Krishna is revealing the absolute truth, his position as Virat Rupa, but we think, no, mathematics will reveal the absolute truth. So therefore, mathematics is God. Because everything is subject to mathematics, whether it's biology mathematics, chemistry mathematics, physics mathematics, mechanical engineer mathematics, we have got it under control. So, that is impersonal, is it not? 1 and 1 makes 2. Is that personal or impersonal? It's personal, because who's going to add them together? 1 and 1 makes 2. They don't add themselves together. You do it in your mind. The personal, in every sphere of existence, we see is superior to the impersonal. The personal scientist is using mathematics, the impersonal tool, to analyze the material world, whether biologically, chemically. It's a person who is using the object. The knife is in the kitchen, but the cook is using it. The knife is impersonal. It's a thing. It is unconscious. But the personal thinking being is cooking the dinner. So we see practically the personal is using the impersonal. And you say the absolute truth is impersonal, so where is that person who is superior to that impersonal aspect? Well, that's there in the Gita, is it not? No, in the Upanishad. Hiranmayena patrena satyasya pahitam mukam. Huh? Oh Lord, please remove that dazzling effulgence so that I can see your form of bliss. And this is logical. Huh? I have energy under my personality. My energy to walk here and there, go here and there, do this and that, we can say it is impersonal, it is energy, but we can certainly agree that it is under my personality. So we see practically in the creation, and through logic, your logic is false, we see that yes, the personality is superior to the impersonal. And instead of atomism, instead of materialism, belief that atoms and molecules are the source of everything, we believe achintya. We believe, as all the great saints and sages have said through millennium, that the absolute truth is unlimited, ananta. What's that verse in the Gita? Advaitam, non-dual. Advaitam, achyutam. Infallible, achyuta. Ananta-rūpam, unlimited forms. Advaitam, achyutam, anadim, ananta-rūpam. Adyam, the source of everything. Parana, purusho, navayovanam cha. But he's always youthful. Vedeshu, very difficult, dolamam. But vedushu, atma bhakto. But by atma bhakto, devotion, he's very easily available. Not by studying the Vedas, just like today's verse, right? Veda-yajñādhyayanair. By studying the Vedas or Vedic sacrifices, no, you can't. Yes, but Krishna says, Vedanta krit veda veda eva chaham. I wrote the Vedas. Yes, but the Vedas, what do they teach? They say that, yes, the sadhya is Krishna, the personal, but the sadhana is bhakti. Bhakti mam abhijananti. Bhakti mam. And only bhakti. And that famous verse, Prabhupada, you all know, Atakshri Krishna namadi na bhaved grayam indriya. Sevan mukhihi jivado swayameva spuryada. That the Supreme Absolute Truth is beyond the material senses. Beyond your logic, your mathematics, your mind. They are his plaything. He is above logic. He is the master of logic. He is the source of everything. He is the source of mathematics. He is the source of the universe. And yet he is not depleted in any way by making billions of universes. How is that fitting into your mathematical formulas? According to your mathematical formulas, if Krishna is producing the universe, he's using energy, he should become depleted. But he's achintya. He's beyond material logic. He's beyond your calculus. He's beyond your mathematical formula. He is inconceivable. And so therefore, all the great saints and mystics throughout time have believed in this mystical aspect to reality. Not this banal, dry, boring idea that everything is a chemical reaction. And if you really propagate that in society, then you're going to end up with immoral people who have no belief in karma, morality, the finer aspects of nature. And we see that, do we not? That communism, I think it was about 100 million people died in China. In Russia, the communists, the atheistic scientists, they killed about, nobody knows, 80 million. Pol Pot, he learned communism, atheism in France, in the Sorbonne, in Paris. He killed 1/3, they say, of his population. To produce his atheistic nirvana, he killed 2 million out of 6 million people. Why? It's just 2 million chemical reactions came to an end. So once you produce this impersonal atomism, this materialism, and you remove people from spirituality, you are distancing them from all the finer aspects of human society. And you will get hell on earth. You will get an atmosphere of no morality, of selfishness, of self-survival, and you will have no standards of human behavior. So the sadhya is very important for human society, because the sadhya, when it is correct, brings joy into the living entities. There's one verse, 5:21. Yes. Bahasparsha ashaktama vidyate atmini yat sukam sa brahma yoga yuktatma sukam akshayam ashnute. Such a liberated person is always in trance, enjoying the pleasure within. Such a liberated person is not attracted to material sense pleasure, but is always in trance, enjoying the pleasure within. In this way, the self-realized person enjoys unlimited happiness, for he concentrates on the Supreme. So, we have the Tribhuvan, we have the gross world, we have the mental world, and we have the spiritual world. Yoga is very simple. Yoga means, instead of focusing the mental conscious capacity on the gross world, you concentrate on the spiritual world. Then you enjoy within the consciousness, you get swayam eva spurti. Spurti means manifestation, revelation. Krishna reveals himself. Satata yuktanam. I reveal myself to those who are atma bhakto, who are devotees. And they enjoy unlimited happiness within. They're not greedy for the external show, the gross world. They are concentrated on the Supreme, for he concentrates on the Supreme. So therefore, spirituality is the rescue system for humanity at this age. And Lord Chaitanya has told us how to perform that spirituality. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. The Maha Mantra has Nityananda Shakti, Guru Shakti. It teaches the living entity. It focuses him on the Supreme. It takes him away from the lower bhuvan, the gross world, and focuses his consciousness on the Supreme. And then he reveals, as Prabhupada says, his divine nature. And to get that divine nature, that's what today's verse is about. We see, right, Harinama, 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 Kalo Nasteva, Nasteva, Nasteva. What does it mean? Not by karma, not by jnana, not by yoga. So this verse is very similar. Not by studying the Vedas, jnana, not by performing sacrifices, karma, not by performing charity, dāna, it's karma, not by pious activities, that's doing good things in the world, nor by tapasya, that's siddhi, right? Yoga, karma, jnana and yoga. So you get yogic siddhis by tapasya, concentrating on the mind, not eating too much, controlling the breathing, pratyahara, focusing on the absolute, the controller, and then you will get some siddhi by his grace. But the most powerful system is to appeal to the personal form of the Lord. This universal form of the Lord, Arjuna has seen, and as Prabhupada says, he was terrified. This is Aishwarya, but it is also ghastliness, vidyagupsha. It's ghastly, because this is not Krishna in the Ras Leela, dancing with the gopis. This is not Krishna in Dwarpa, married to 16,108 wives, and living simultaneously with all of them, and they're all happy in his association. This is Krishna giving people the fruit of their karma as they pursue ignorant activities in the material world. And 3 classes ago, the final verse in the Uddhava Gita, chapter 28 of the 11th canto, 29th chapter is Bhakti Yoga. In the 28th chapter it's called Jnana Yoga. And the final verse there is, Krishna tells Uddhava, you should simply see the material world. He gives one sloka. He says, as the interaction of the conditioned souls with the material energy. That's it. That's also in the Brahma Samhita. It's one of the final verses. Yastvindra gopamattavendro ahosva karma pandana rupam falabhajinam atanoti karmadi nirdahati kinchu chabhakti bhajam govindam adipurisham tamaham bhajami. I adore the primeval Lord Govinda, who burns up to their roots all fruitive activities, masuchaha, of those who are imbued with devotion. So all the karmic, the prarabdha and aparabdha karma that is there, it's all burnt up, who are imbued with devotion. And impartially, that's the Paramatma. Prabhupada in one purport says, this is like an impersonal activity of the Lord. He just you did this, you get that. He did this, he gets that. It's like not an emotional thing. He's just giving, supervising. 2 words are given. He is upadrishta, overseer, and anumanta, permitting. He's just impersonally overseeing and permitting the interaction of the jiva with the material energy. Impartially ordaining to each soul the due enjoyment of the fruits of one's activities, of all those who work in the path of work, walk in the path of work, karma, in accordance with the chain of their previously performed works. listen to this, no less in the case of the tiny insect that bears the name Indragopa than that of Indra, the king of the Devas. So Krishna as Paramatma is just as attentive to Indra as he is to the Indragopa worm, the bug. He is impartially giving them the fruit of their karma, and he is guiding them to the fulfillment of their calm, their material desire. And he's just standing back and giving it, supervising. Everything is happening on the grace of Krishna. We are, like I say, we are hearing through Krishna's grace. We are touching through the grace of Krishna. We are seeing through the grace of Krishna. We are tasting through the grace of Krishna. We are smelling by the grace of Krishna. We are walking by the grace of Krishna. We are procreating by the grace of Krishna. We are digesting by the grace of Krishna. We are making things with our hands by the grace of Krishna. We are singing and speaking by the grace of Krishna. Everything is resting upon him. But those that are doing all those things as an offering to Krishna, manmana bhava mad bhakto madhyajye, everything is a yajña to him. In this verse, when it's talking about Vedic yajña, he's talking about those that performing yajñas so they get some material fruit. Perform tapasya, so maybe they get some siddhi. They're studying the Vedas because they want to feed their mind and maybe merge with the Absolute. That is not bhakti. That does not attract Krishna. But if you are a little squirrel on the bank of Rameshwaram, and Ram is building a bridge to Lanka to rescue Sita, and you are Kilari, what is it called? Kilari? The little, and you are kicking some sand into the ocean, then Ram will pat you on the back and he'll say, you are my devotee. And all you've done is taken a little sand and thrown it in the direction of Lanka, and you'll become dear to Krishna. You'll become beloved forevermore of Ramchandra. Sita will bless you just by taking a little sand and throwing it in the ocean. Instead of studying the Vedas, learning Sanskrit inside and out, performing yajñas, performing tapasyas, what should we do? We should just get a little flower, a fruit, and we offer it to Krishna. And that is more powerful. What is that verse? You're the sloka man. Patram pushvam phalam toyam yo me bhakti prayashati tadaham bhakti uparyatam. Right? Just take a flower from the garden and put it at the lotus feet of Giriraj or Shalagram, and this is more powerful than all Hiranyakashipu's and Ravana's austerities. This is more powerful than the universe, because you're pleasing the Supreme Lord. You're touching his heart. And that's what he means when he says, do everything, manmana bhava mad bhakto, do everything in your whole life as an offering to me, and if you really want to touch my heart, just be gentle and humble. Just go in front of me and say, I Nanda Tanuja Kinkaram, patitamam vishavevam buddho kripaya tava pankaja stuti sadrisim vichintaya. Oh Nanda Maharaj, your son Krishna, you please pick me up and put me as an atom of dust at your lotus feet. And that is more powerful than everything in the universe. That will sit you in the divine nature. That means Yogamaya. The materialist is in Mahamaya. Yogamaya took Krishna from the prison house, we're all in the prison house, to Vrindavan. Mahamaya appeared to Kamsa. The devotees are under Yogamaya and they live in enlightenment and bliss. And the non-devotees are in Mahamaya. Yogamaya is expanded from the wife of Narayan. And Mahamaya is expanded from Yogamaya. So the devotees are under Yogamaya. They're full of nescience in their consciousness and fruitive desire. The devotees under Yogamaya are full of enlightenment. They see, they feel the happiness within. And they live eternally. And what is the deciding factor? Choice. Your choice. But your choice should be inspired and guided by sadhu sangha, sadhu sangha, sadhu sangha, sava shastra hoy, lava mata sadhu sangha, sava siddhi hoy. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So thank you all very much. So Prabhupada also says in another purport, he says, the devotees are not very anxious to see the universal form. They want to escape the universal form. They want to see Narayan. They want to see Krishna. So we maintain that desire and we keep good association through the Shastra, through the commentary, through sadhu sangha in this world, and we go back to Godhead and we live eternally. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. And this is all the grace of the Vaishnav and the grace of Krishna. Just because you took a flower and you offered it to Krishna. Okay, any question? Yeah, Duryodhana. Yeah. Well, that wasn't a full form. No, it wasn't the complete form. It was a partial manifestation. I read that section of the Mahabharata, Ganguru version, and I've also read commentary on that. And the acharyas say this wasn't the full manifestation that Arjuna saw. It was, they tried to, Duryodhana thought, that was the last chance. They were trying to stop the war. Krishna went, and Duryodhana thought, now's a chance, we'll capture Krishna. Tried to bind him. And Krishna expanded himself. Just like Lord Chaitanya displayed the impersonal Brahman before Prakasananda. He gave Duryodhana a hint. of his power and opulence. But it wasn't the full, if that's what you've understood, that's not what I've read. It was a partial expansion, it was a partial display. For example, a lion may be sitting peacefully, and you walk up to it and you go, "Ugh." So then the lion, he roars back, but he doesn't jump on you and tear you apart. He shows that you are trying to scare me, you are trying to bind me with ropes, when your whole universe is within me, like Mother Yashoda saw. So it wasn't the full. That's what I've heard.
Now, if we see the example...
Sorry, the universal form is what?
Personal form, Krishna's personal form is above the universal form.
Yeah, it's the source.
Is the source, basically. But what we see, by doing the tapas, through Maharaj saw the personal form.
Yes.
Right? So, by the penances, you can see the form which is the source.
But he wasn't performing. This means penances that aren't performed with bhakti. Dhruva was chanting, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So that is bhakti. That is vandanam.
So
that
in
is number 6.
In this case, what Krishna is telling Arjuna, by all these activities, if we want to see this form, particular form which Arjuna is saying, it is not possible to see by these activities. Only by his mercy you can see.
You can perform all those things, study the Vedas with a sense of bhakti. I want to understand Krishna. You can perform yajñas, you can perform tapasya like fast on ecology for the purpose of bhakti. But we can understand that Krishna is saying when they're not performed for devotional realization, they don't reveal me. They are material, just like I say, Hiranyakashipu, Ravana, they performed great austerities, but it wasn't bhakti.
Hare Krishna. So, speaking about freedom.
About what?
Speaking about freedom.
Freedom?
Yeah.
I was speaking, or you're speaking?
I'm speaking about freedom. That from a material point of view, we understand the advantages of Krishna consciousness, that one becomes free from becoming a victim of Maya. But from a spiritual point of view, one does everything that Krishna wants. So whatever Krishna desires, we do. So my question is, for somebody like myself who is trying to understand the concept of freedom from a Krishna conscious point of view, how would you comment on that?
Well, surrender to Krishna means to reciprocate with Krishna. It doesn't mean to become an impersonal puppet, a zombie. There's one verse in the Bhagavatam, Muktir, liberation, freedom. Muktir hitavan yata rupam swarupena avashtitihi. What is liberation? Liberation means to be situated in your eternal spiritual form. And in that relationship, reciprocate with Krishna eternally. It is not that you're just waiting to be told what to do. That's the implication of your question, that you're in the spiritual world and you say, tell me what to do. Like, an army that's defeated, they other army is okay, they have to obey. That's not that kind of surrender. It's not a surrender that is a defeat. It is a surrender that is an enter into loving relationship and reciprocation with Krishna. And if you read 10th canto, you'll see. And if you read the Rasa Shastra of the Goswamis, Lalita Shakya is chastising Krishna. Krishna is feeling, Radharani is performing man. Thank you. It's not that surrender means that there is, you become a servant in the basement. No. That is actually, it's in the Vedanta Sutra. That question is asked. Or Baladev Vidyabhushan in his commentary, Govinda Bhasya, in the Vedanta Sutra, he explains that the liberated soul, situated in his Swarup, he attains powers and potencies that are practically on the same level as Krishna. And he explains, Baladev, that this is necessary because in Goloka, he is reciprocating with Krishna in Yogamaya in a practical equal level. He's not like, you can imagine, an elephant. Can an ant reciprocate with an elephant? No. The ant has to become an elephant, then he can reciprocate with other elephants. So Baladev explains in his commentary, Govinda Bhasya, that the liberated soul has all these amazing potencies so that he can relate with the absolute Supreme Person without a sense of Aishwarya. In Golok, everyone has this feeling, Sambandha Ras. Krishna is the local Admi. Hamara local Admi hai. Krishna is the local, he's the son of Nanda Maharaj. He's living in our village. They don't think that Krishna is the absolute truth, the source of the Virat Rupa, source of Vishnu, source of Brahma, Shiva. But Baladev then further explains, however, one potency Krishna does not bestow on the jiva. And that is the potency to make another creation. In the sense, Krishna has created Golok, Haridham, Maheshdham, Durgadharm. He's created all the principles within him. So Krishna doesn't give that ability, that potency, to make another material and spiritual manifestation. And Baladev said because that would cause confusion and that would be unnecessary. The creation is Leela style. Krishna performs Leela in Golok, in Gokul. His Leela in the Durgadharm give him the ability to give doya, mercy. He doesn't need to give doya to the residents of Goloka. But when he's Lord Chaitanya, he gives mercy to all the fallen souls. When he's Matsya, he rescues the Vedas and the sages at the partial pralaya. When he's Vamana, he gives mercy to Bali Maharaj. When he is Buddha, he gives mercy to the voidists. He tricks them into worshipping him in that form. So the Gokul Leela within Dharma, this is all the place of Doya, where Krishna can become Shaktavesh avatar, Veda Vyas, and he can record all the Vedas, and he can write the Mahabharata, which is, and this is the Gita. So this is all, and the living entity in his liberated form enters into this Yogamaya liberated reciprocation with Krishna. So, don't worry if you aren't perfectly understanding it, because that's what the devotees are doing eternally. The devotees are eternally realizing the Supreme Lord and their relationship with Krishna. That is the ultimate occupation. That is the Dharma. That is the Jaiva Dharma. To realize Krishna, Krishna's devotees, and to enter into the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu and live eternally in this ecstatic ocean of love and rasa. Krishna is rasavai saha. Namani chintamani Krishnas Chaitanya Rasavigraha. So perfect your regulative principles, perfect your chanting, study Gita, study Bhagavatam, study Chaitanya Leela, and Swayam Eva Spuryada. Krishna reveals himself. Don't think that realizing Krishna is just for Dhruva Maharaj or Prahlad Maharaj. We're all designed to realize Krishna. Every single one of us. You understand? Don't put limits on yourself. You understand? By the grace of Krishna, just like Lord Chaitanya, in ecstasy he ran out in Puri and he fell in the ocean, and the fisherman thought, I've caught a big fish. And he touched Lord Chaitanya and he became ecstatic. And he felt, I've gone mad. The devotees running down the beach, they saw this fisherman and he was, what's happened to me? I feel ecstasy. So the devotees thought, here's a madman. That means Lord Chaitanya is nearby. So that when you become liberated, when you have a relationship to Krishna, it is not defeat, it is success. And not only that, in the Shastra, we sing every day, right? Gopi Jana Balabhaya, right? So Krishna is the lover of the gopis, and he is the beloved of the gopis. And Krishna becomes submissive to the love of his devotees. The unlimited Supreme Purushottam, Supreme Person, becomes submissive to his devotees. He says that in the teachings of Rishabhdev, right? He says, there is earth people, then there's ghosts, then there is the Gandharvas, then the Siddhas, then the Asuras, and then the Devatas, and then he says, amongst them is Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma is considered superior to Lord Shiva because Lord Shiva manifests from Lord Brahma. So above Lord Brahma, in the company of Lord Brahma are the Vaishnavas. And I consider them the greatest of all living entities. And they are the greatest because I consider them that. Krishna considers his devotees to be superior to himself. How is that? Because Krishna has unlimited potency, but all his qualities are unlimited. So his humility is unlimited. Do you understand? His unlimited humility is such that he does not consider himself the supreme over his devotees. He considers himself the servant. And that mood is fully manifest in Lord Chaitanya. Gopi Bhata Kamalayo, Das or Das, Anudas. That I am the servant of the servant of the servant of the master of the gopis. So Krishna, like Radharani, what does Krishna do? He dresses as a gopi, and he sits behind Radharani and arranges her hair and puts a flower in her hair. He becomes servant of Radharani. So Krishna, that is the spiritual world. So you should read the Rasa Shastra, first become liberated by sadhana, good sadhana, then when you get rag, study the personality of Krishna and his Leela, and then you will get realization of Krishna. And that is the progress. First Vaidhi, then Rag, then Rati, then Prem. And when you have Prem for Krishna, Krishna does not think, now I've got somebody under control. That's not Krishna. That's the material world. In the material world, the whole material world, everyone is trying to be Ishvara. I am controlling this land, this country, this family, this bank balance. I'm aham bogi, ishvaropi ham, aham bogi. I am controller and enjoyer. So we transpose that onto the spiritual world. And we think that, Krishna is the supreme Ishvara, so he is exploiting everyone in the spiritual world. No, it's completely different in the spiritual world. It's the reverse. Do you understand? So that's why we have to take shelter of the Mahatsevam Dwara Mahovimuk, the great Paramahamsas, the 6 Goswamis, the great Acharyas. We have to study their words, and we have to perform Nam Bhajan. And then we realize Krishna. Swayam Eva Spuriyada becomes revealed by grace of Krishna. You understand? And it is nothing like the material world. This is the perverted reflection. Just like the trees are on the side of the lake, and they're reflected in a grey, upside down way on the surface of the lake, and that lake shivers and everything. So the material world is like that. It's not eternal. It's not perfect. It's grey. It's jada. It's dull. This material body is suppressing the abilities of the soul. So the liberated soul enjoys unlimited happiness because he concentrates on the Supreme, the Gita. So the secret of life is atato, at every moment to concentrate on the Supreme. Never become drawn down into the material energy. Always focus on the Supreme. Atato Brahma Jignyas. Now, that means now, at every moment, concentrate on the Supreme. Huh? That is, everything that happens, we should relate that to Krishna and Krishna's Leela, Krishna's devotees, and Lord Chaitanya, and follow and understand we're in the family of Lord Chaitanya. We're in the parivar of Sadhu Sangha, and we're performing meditation, manmana bhava madbhakto, on Krishna. And whenever the material world grabs us here and there, our attention, we should relate that to Krishna. Vasudeva Savamiti. Everything is Krishna. So we should interpret everything, and that is in the Chatusloki, in the Srimad Bhagavatam. The first one says, that which appears to be knowledge but has no relationship to me, know it to be illusion. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thank you all very much. See you next Friday. Don't forget Krishna.